Hello there, girlfriends, and welcome to my video. I am Mickey B. Have we met? It is Sunday night of week 11 of my hair rehabilitation series, and it is winter here in Southern California. At least for me, I'm cold, I'm freezing, and I do not like to be cold and freezing. So if you hear a little hum, that's my little floor heater. And I'll tell you, when I'm cold, that's the one motivator to get me to move quick. So without further ado, we're about to do just that. About to move quick up in this piece because it's cold. My house has hardwood floors, and hardwood floors does not lock in any heat, and I'm feeling it. So also, in lieu of this winter season that we are, I know some of you guys will probably laugh at me like, that is not even cold, but for me it's cold. I'm anemic and I've always been cold, so I am going to get this done so I can get in my bed with my electric heating pad to warm me up and rock me off into a nice warm sleep. So that is the amount of moisture that I will be putting on my hair tonight. And I'll just go ahead and jump into it. What did I want to share with you tonight? I did have a couple of stories to share with you. The first one is you see my nails are just like jacked up now because I cut them off, and then this one broke, this one broke. These two had already broke, so I just cut them all, and these were the three consistent ones, so I just kept them at the active length. And I gotta tell you, I am so much happier. Even though they look horrible, I can like do things, and I am to be able to just do stuff and not have to worry about breaking a fingernail is priceless. So I want to say that I'm mad, but I'm not. I'm actually glad. So they don't look pretty, but they definitely are functional, and I like to be able to do what I need to do when I need to do it. And speaking of which, I had to end up trimming my hedges in the backyard. I've been needing to do that for a minute, and there's no way I was going to be able to do that with these fingernails growing 52 inches long. So I got that done today, and actually it took me 2 days. I cleaned up what I did on Saturday when I trimmed them, and then after I trimmed them, then I left the shavings to be cleaned up today. So I did it in 2 jobs, and that's what broke the thumb to this point, to where it's like the Flintstones now. So, and as you notice, I'm wearing a sweatshirt tonight because, like I said, it gets cold in my house, and I don't turn the whole heater on because it to me is not an efficient use of energy. So I have space heaters wherever I go to warm up that area where I am. But the only problem is getting there is like walking through a refrigerator. So sometimes I'm like, oh, I gotta go walk to the bathroom, or I gotta go to the kitchen, and I know I'm gonna freeze. So half the time I'm walking around my home looking like an Eskimo, all wrapped up. Like literally, I'm dressed for the outside on the inside. And also, getting back to being happy with my nails being gone, I don't have to put gloves on or suit up, worry about all this stuff getting under my nails, because it's no longer an issue. I can feel my hair again, and I don't know, like I said, I don't know how people can do that like for the long haul, like consistently, and have to work around that. It was a cool experiment, like, because that was the first time my nails had ever done that, but I am not mad that it's gone, and I never want them to get to that length again. I am one and done. The active length works just fine for me. So yeah, so that was another new experience for me that came and went, and I have put it where it goes. Oops, not the grease yet, the shea butter. And especially too, this time in the winter when everything's so cold, my hands are the best incubator for melting the shea butter, or at least softening it up. It's not gonna melt it, but to get it on my hair. The other update I wanted to share was about my knee. When I told you guys how I was walking and my knee just did something weird and it's been, you know, aching and sore. So I did end up going to the doctor on Friday, and I went to urgent care, and it surprisingly was not busy. I got there, they called me right in. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised. But with this pandemic, I'm telling you, it's a lot of little good things that are coming as a result, because people, the last place they want to be is at a hospital. So I went in, they signed me in, and I was waiting in the waiting room for the doctor to come. There was a little bit of confusion on which room to put me in. And once they cleared all of that up, I was waiting for the doctor to come. And he found, while I was waiting, in the room next to me, I heard all this loud talking. You know, initially I just thought it was people having a loud conversation, because you know how when you're in a waiting room, you can kind of hear through the walls. And sometimes people have loud voices. Now, I'm just thinking it was that while I was waiting. No big deal. I know sometimes. I was just happy that they took me right in, and I didn't even have to do a waiting room wait. I just went straight to the room for the doctor to see me. So I hear this conversation going on, not really tuned in. But it was going on for a while, and then I realized these people are yelling. They are upset. It was actually a man. It was a man, and he was hot. This man was pissed off. I'm trying to remember. See, when I get to talking, I forget what step I'm on. Anyway, if I did it already, I'll just give it an extra dose. But yeah, so this man was hot. And so I started to kind of listen, because now it became a commotion in the, you know, in the hall area where the nurses are, like at the nurses station. And you know how when you hear people screaming back and forth, then everybody starts walking down the hall, just really being nosy, but trying to act like they're just walking in that direction. So a lot of the staff was now walking down the hall trying to see, you know, what was going on. And then they would walk back. Now my room was right next to his, and the door was open on my room, so I could see all these people walking back and forth. And they're like, and I'm hearing the guy, he was like, I want these results of this test for my wife right now. We've been here since 11 o'clock and I'm hungry and nobody's come. I've been waiting for these results. You know, he was just pissed off. Now, I never heard the wife say anything. Not a word. Didn't hear her say anything at all. So she was just, I don't know, maybe she was in pain. I don't know what was wrong with her. But they kept calling someone from radiology. And so all the nurses were like, those tests take, it takes about an hour to get the results of those tests. So, there was a staff member, I guess he was a nurse. I just know it was a guy. I'm assuming he was a nurse. He wasn't the doctor. And he was telling the guy, he says, well, we're waiting for your test results. He said, we're waiting for the radiologist to come over and give us the test results and go over them with you. And he was like, well, what's taking so long? Why I want them now, right now. Like, why aren't they here? He was just upset because of how long he had been waiting. Now, he said, I've been here since 11. Around this time, I think it was around 2 o'clock, going on 2:30, something like that. So the guy was trying to calm him down and explain to him that, they've called the radiologist. He says, I'm not the radiologist. I can't give you the results to the test. And the guy, when I say this man was yelling, he was hot. Nothing anybody could say could calm him down. And so because he was creating such a commotion now, all the nurses are going back and forth, call somebody, we need somebody from radiology right now, the customer is livid, and blah 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 blah. So all that's going on, and then the nurse who was in there trying to calm the man down, he finally walks out and he was like, well sir, I told you the situation, because the old man was like, we're leaving. You know, we're here this long. We're leaving. We're not waiting any longer. If you can't get me my results right, or my wife's results right now, we've been here 6 times dealing with this. Every time we come, it's the same thing. You guys can't tell us what's wrong with her. You know, the whole nine. He was just, like I said, hot. So the guy, the nurse guy, or whatever his title was, I just call him the nurse. He finally says, sir, I've explained to you the situation. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you anymore. If you want to leave, then you can leave. And he said something like, let God take care of it. Or so the guy must have said something about God to him, because he said something like, leave it to God or something like that. So he leaves, and then the old man's still yelling. And then he finally stops yelling because there's nobody else in there anymore for him to yell at. And so I'm still waiting, by the way. All this is going on while I'm waiting, and I'm just watching people go back and forth. Literally, my door open was like a TV. I could just see people, and then the nurse's station was like right here, to a little bit to the right. So she was, the nurse who was taking care of me was the one who was on the phone calling to try and get someone to come in. And so I finally, did she come to me? No, okay, so the doctor finally comes in to me, and it's this young doctor. Now mind you, at this point my knee has been hurting for about 2 weeks and 2 days, and this particular day that I went in, it was really like excruciating, and I felt like it should have been getting better. So that's what finally made me say, you know, go ahead and go in, because this is 2 weeks, 2 days in, and I still feel pain like this. So this is what the doctor comes in, and he, you know, what's going on? So I tell him that. I said nothing happened. I was walking. I felt this little roll, and then I've been limping ever since. And I said, and I need to know what's going on, so that I want to make sure that I'm not making it worse. Well, you know, so he was like, okay. So and he was a young, I want to say Chinese. He was Asian. He was a young Asian guy. So I tell him, he sits there, he listens, then he takes my knee and he pulls it up, and you know how they do, does this hurt, does this hurt? He's mashing here and there. And so he's mashing around my knee, and he's like, does this hurt? I'm like, no. Does that hurt? No. And then he goes, does it hurt here? And then he's pressing different areas, and then he finally hit the area. I'm like, right there. That's where it hurts. It hurts right there. And so he does it a couple more times, and then he extends my knee and then moves it around, I guess, to try and see what motion causes the pain. And so I says, well, let me just show you exactly where it is. So I lifted my knee up, and I took the brace off that I was wearing, and I lifted my knee, and I pulled my knee up, and I mashed in the air. I said, it's right here. I said, it's very sorry. I said, when you mash it right here, it hurts. So he goes, it's probably tendinitis. I was like, okay. So he explains, you know, sometimes, you know, the muscles can get sore just from activity. You might have just with regular wear and tear on your knee, blah, blah, blah. He's giving me this spiel. He said, so I'm going to give you some cream to use on top, because he asked me, what are you doing for it now? And I showed him what I was using. I showed him my little yellow oil and some Absorbane Junior. And he's like, okay. He says, I'm going to give you some cream. He said, it's probably inflamed right now, which is why it's hurting. And he says, I'm going to give you some topical cream to put on top. He says, I'm going to, for the inflammation, he says, I'm going to give you, I thought he said Proto something, because I don't take medications, you know, I'm old school, if I can endure. So when you start dropping medication names to me, it doesn't really stick. But I thought it was like Proto something. proto something, but he was actually said prednisone. I think that's how you say it, prednisone. So he said, I'm going to give you a prescription for some prednisone, and you can take that for the inflammation, and then if you still feel pain on top of that, then I'll also prescribe you this cream, this topical cream that you can use in addition to taking the medication, the prednisone. So I was like, okay. So when he was telling me, I knew right then and there. I'm like, I'm not taking no medication. Y'all too easy and quick to give me the medication. And so then he's like, done. He said it's swollen, it's inflamed, that's why it's so, it's hurting, blah blah blah. He said stay off of it for a couple of weeks, and it's been about 3 days now. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, it's been about 3 days that I've been off of it. And he said stay off for a couple of weeks. So, and then he leaves. He's walking out the room. I said, excuse me. I said, do you think we can do an x-ray? Because I don't want you guessing what you think it is without you can't come over here just feeling on somebody's leg and making a diagnosis, and I'm telling you for 2.5 weeks and you're just saying it's just swollen. I'm like, I can't keep running back and forth up here for you to be guessing. It's like, at least you guys got all this equipment up in here, use it. So, I wasn't talking to him like that, but I'm like, you think we can get an x-ray? And he was like, well, yeah, I guess we could do that. Like, he wasn't even gonna suggest it, and that was the whole reason that I wanted to go to the doctors, because I want to know, I want the need to be properly examined so we can know what's going on up in there. I'm not here for you to guess. So that was kind of annoying to me, because I'm like, do you think I'm leaving here today without an x-ray, without a thorough examination? So when I mentioned it to him, now he was young. I'm like, he looked like he wasn't a doctor that long. He looked like one of them cast members from Grey's Anatomy, that age group. So I'm like, I shouldn't even have to suggest that. That to me should have been the first thing that he said to me, is we want to get an x-ray. Just to be sure. Even if he knew better. It's like, you don't know me though. I could be mistelling you the story, telling you the wrong words or the wrong description. You should want to see for yourself what it is. And so I had to recommend that I get an x-ray, which was like, that just was so backwards to me. They're so quick to rush you in and out. I'm like, first of all, I have insurance. That's what the insurance is for. It's for me to find out, to find out if there's something wrong and that needs to be addressed. Secondly, I still had to pay a copay on top of it. So it wasn't like you gave it to me for free. You already got the first payment through my insurance, and now you're also charging me a copay. So you're not doing me any favors, and then I'm the one suggesting it, and you're like, okay, well, I guess we could do that. That just disturbed me a bit, because like I said, I waited 2 weeks because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing anything. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't something that was just going to go right away and be unnecessary for me to go to the doctor. But now that I'm here, and I'm concerned now because it was still hurting, and then you just gonna try to rush me out after all? No, it's not gonna work for me. I'm not that person who you're just gonna sit there and tell something and think I'm gonna leave, and every step, every twist and turn, y'all charging me a copay. You crazy. So he was like, yeah, I guess we could do that. So I'm like, oh, I know we can do that. So he writes up the request for an x-ray. So I go, now mind you, when I check in, I had to do the copay to see him, to try and tell me nothing. And then when I get to the x-ray, I check in, there's a copay. Okay, then after the x-ray, I go to the pharmacy, and there's a copay for the prescription for each one. So each one, I had to pay a fee for the prednisone, and then for the cream is some generic cream. I don't know the name of what it would be like if you would go to the drugstore, because it doesn't have a name on it. And it doesn't do a thing at all. I don't even know what the point of this cream is for. Because when I put it on, my yellow oil works better, and the Absorbine Junior works better than the cream. I actually feel them do something. I put that cream on, and it doesn't even do anything. And the prednisone is still in the bag in the kitchen on my counter, right where I dropped it off when I got home, because I'm not taking that. When I got the prednisone, the lady from the pharmacy came, and she was like, okay, so you know how they come and then they explain what it is. Have you ever taken prednisone before? And I'm like, nope. And she was like, well, so she opens the bag. She says, well, the instructions will tell you to she said, you need to start tomorrow because you need to start like a full day. So the instructions tell you to take 2 pills in the morning before breakfast, but I don't want you to do that. I want you to take them after breakfast, and then you take another pill after lunch, and then after dinner you take another pill, and then before bed you take 2 pills. I think she said something like 30 minutes before bed or something like that. So I'm like, 2 in the morning, 1 for lunch, 1 for dinner, that's 4, and then 2 before bed. So that's 6 pills you want me to take in one day. And then she said, but if you think the 2 before bed will cause you to get insomnia, then take them with dinner. So I said, so you want me to take 3 now at dinner, 1 at lunch, and 3 in the morning if I get insomnia? How will I know if I'm going to get insomnia if I've never taken these things before? And she was like, well, if you take it and you find that you can't go to sleep. And then I said, do these things upset your stomach? Do they make you nauseated? She was like, well, yeah, that's why I told you, instead of doing the instructions and taking it before breakfast, take it after. So I just listened to her, and I went ahead. I always buy the medication just in case it's something excruciating and I can't tolerate it. Then I always want to at least have it. But I bought many a medication and just thrown it away. And that's pretty much going to be the same with this one. And the doctor said too, in addition to staying off of my knee for a couple of weeks, he said to, well, he didn't say it. I asked the nurse afterwards, should I continue to wear my brace? Because they rush you so much when they come in there. You wait forever, or you wait however long you wait, and then they come in there, and then they rush you so you can't really get all your questions asked. And I got the bulk of mine, but that's one that I forgot to ask. So I asked the nurse, and she said to continue to wear the brace. So, long story short, the cream didn't do jack. I used it a couple times. It's worthless. The prednisone is still in the packet, unopened. If I can, I will take that back and tell them just credit my copay for a future or something. But that's just going to get trashed. My knee definitely feels better since I haven't done any exercise on it for I think 3 days now. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, for 3 days. It still hurts. It's still tender in there, but it's not throbbing and excruciating like it was Friday when I went in there. So I feel like it's getting better, but I haven't tested it and walked Lacey, who's really unhappy because she hasn't had a walk for 3 days. And I'm unhappy because I haven't been able to walk for 3 days. And one of my favorite times to walk is when it's really windy. Like when we get those Santa Ana winds out here. I don't know why, I just love it. And we had that on Saturday, I think it was. Yeah, Saturday. Oh, this, like, the wind was calling me. I wanted to be out there so bad, so bad. But I'm like, no, I can't do anything. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be obedient and not walk. It's definitely getting better, but I don't want to get out of my routine and to, you know, stop my exercise routine. It's too easy to mess up your routine, to get out of your routine and start giving in to sitting around. So I don't want to do that. So probably tomorrow or Tuesday, or I don't know, one day this week, I'll still play it by ear because I want it to get better. Did I show you Baldy, by the way? I don't remember. So yeah, I wanted to get better. I might not walk the whole week. That's gonna kill me, but I might just stay off a whole week. I don't think I'm gonna stop for 2 weeks. But so that was my experience with going to the doctor. I did go. He told me in regards to the x-rays that he would do the x-ray, and he said, and if I don't see anything else, then, you know, he said, if I see anything else, I'll call you. So to me, you should call me either way, which is what I thought he was gonna do. And I haven't heard anything from him, and I still want to know. I paid for an x-ray, so I need my results. I don't know if you saw something or not. I can't just assume you didn't see something. And I don't like that. I'll let you know, because I see why that little old man was so angry. So after my doctor had finally left and he was finished with me, and I was talking to the nurse, the little old man came out and I saw him. It was an older, you know, Caucasian gentleman. And it was funny because as I was talking to the nurse, he just came and interrupted my session, because I guess she was his nurse as well. And he came out to tell her, you know, can you send someone in here and do something, because my wife and I are leaving. We're tired of waiting. So I just stopped talking because I know he was already upset. So I'm like, I'm not here to challenge you. I'm like, I can wait for him to get taken care of. So I just stepped back, let her address him, and she was like, oh, Mr. So-and-so, we just heard that they have the results back. She says, so just hold on, the radiologist is on his way. They're gonna come and give you the results of the test. And so he was like all happy. And then so after she finishes talking to him, he turns around and goes to his wife. He said, yeah, that black lady said the radiologist is on his way. And it was so funny, because when he said it, the nurse looked at me and I looked at her. She looked at me like, did you hear that? You know, it was like that kind of a look. I said, and so when she looked at me, I said, yeah, I heard him. I said, we just cracked up laughing. It was the way he said it. It was funny. It was like, that black lady said that the radiologist is on his way, so we should wait, you know, and wait for him to come. And he just walks and shouts it all out. It was one of those you had to be there. But needless to say, my knee does definitely feel better. I haven't walked on it again yet, so once I test it and do my walk, that'll be the true test. But I am trying to be obedient. On that note, I am done for today. I'm going to go and put my hot head on here and let this hair condition. It is not saturated at all because I'm not trying to get sick in these cold temperatures. So it is just the perfect amount of moisture. And like I said, I'm gonna deep condition and go to a warm place in my house and relax and go to bed. So I might sleep in that hot head tonight. So thanks for watching. I don't want this to run out. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you I'll see you Wednesday of week 11. I hope everyone's doing well. And remember, take care of your hair. Join me and let's get keep our hair in a good, healthy position to maintain good hair health. That's very important. And share this with a friend. The more the merrier. All right, I am seriously going to say goodbye, and I'll see you soon. Okay, so I got my hot head on. I just wanted to show you so you can see and not forget deep condition after you do it on tonight. This is the best part of doing the rehair bilitation deep condition Sundays, is because it's so cold in my house. This feels so good, warm and cozy. So this is probably more of an incentive than anything to do it on a Sunday. But I just wanted to come back and show you that I actually did it. I felt like it was incomplete if I didn't show you my hot head on my big head. See you later. Bye-bye.